All right, guys, I saw this article that was apparently taken from CBS. It is the top current offseason spring storylines for college football. And what this is me reacting to an article that this author apparently reacted to from CBS Sports. So yes, this is just one big orgy of content. This is quality content. The only thing that would top this is if somebody made a video reacting to me reacting to this article. That would be the only thing that would make this better. All right, let's get into it though. The first thing, Georgia's three-peat. Oh, hell no. Please, God, no. Please, no. Is Stenson Bennett somehow coming back? But seriously, guys, Georgia, I mean, I've even had Georgia fans come up to me and say, listen, we got really lucky. Ohio State should have won. Ohio State's the real national champion last year. Come on, folks. This is ridiculous. Ohio State should have won last year. We all know that. And Georgia, do we really think Carson Beck is going to do anything with a name like Carson Beck? Come on. I feel like this is the year Alabama defeats Georgia in the SEC championship. But Georgia does have a very easy schedule, very easy non-conference because the SEC told them to cancel their home-and-home with Oklahoma because Oklahoma is joining. Next, we've got Deion Sanders. Oh, yes, Deion and Colorado. Well, you know what? I think this is a great move by Colorado football to get more relevant. Is it a move that's going to sustain your program for a decade? No. We know Deion Sanders is very likely going to leave Colorado after 3 or 4 seasons. That might even be optimistic. He might leave after 2. But still, if you're Colorado, you were 1-11 last year. It was the bottom of the barrel. At least you're relevant now. And I'm expecting Colorado with the completely new roster, the 2 really good young cornerbacks. They've got 5 or 6 wins. I think they can make a bowl game. But the Pac-12 is very hard this year, so they're going to have trouble winning games with a completely revamped roster that really has zero chemistry when it comes to playing live games. Realignment. Yeah, guys, we got some huge upcoming things with conference realignment when it comes to the Pac-12's TV deal. That's going to start a domino effect more than likely. Who is the Pac-12 getting in bed with? Will ESPN take some of their games? Will it be streaming only? How will that affect Washington and Oregon? If Washington and Oregon want to go to the Big Ten, how much money are they getting from the Big Ten? Is it half of what the other teams in the Big Ten are getting? That's kind of the rumor right now. And then how does it affect the 4 schools the Big 12 is trying to get if it is a streaming heavy deal? If you are Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, or Utah, and you're, on a streaming only deal, do you want to leave? Would you want to leave that conference to get more relevant games with the Big 12 and really get games on ESPN and Fox? So it will be very interesting to see what happens. I think the big storyline, they touch on it. Will the Pac-12 survive with their new TV deal that is supposedly coming up mid-March, so maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks at that? That's going to be the next big thing. If it's not good, you are going to see some of these teams try and look elsewhere to get in and really secure their future. The depth of Ohio State, so I would imagine this is the offseason storyline for the Buckeyes, the quarterback battle between Kyle McCord and Devin Brown. I can tell everyone right now the current vibe, it's expected that Kyle McCord is going to win this job. He's been in this will be 3 years now, Kyle McCord going into his 3rd year in Ryan Day's system. He did start a game as a true freshman, albeit against, I believe, Akron. But yeah, we would expect McCord to win this. Me personally, when it comes to any quarterback battle, I just want the best player to win it. I can't sit here and tell you, oh, Devin Brown is definitely better than McCord. We don't know. Nobody knows because we don't know how, well these young guys are maturing as quarterback prospects. The one fun fact I'll say, Devin Brown was actually ranked the number 1 overall player in the entire country on the new recruiting site On3. Take that for whatever you want, but overall, I know he's not considered a composite 5-star, but that is something that's interesting. He was not ranked number one quarterback. He was ranked the number one player. So the number one quarterback, the number one player at any position. So it's like, wow, I mean, Devin Brown, is he seriously that good? He's a little bit more of a dual threat. McCord can move a little bit, but he's kind of like CJ Stroud. He's got heavier feet in terms of his mobility. And then, yeah, I mean, Penn State, guys, they're coming. They got a loaded roster with a young, possible Josh Allen lookalike quarterback who was ranked the number 3 overall player. He's a true sophomore this season. Sean Clifford is gone. They've got a superstar young running back, Nick Singleton. And they've got a really good defense, even losing Joey Porter Jr. So Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan, you're looking at 3 of maybe the top 5 or 6 schools in the country. I would say Penn State deserves a preseason AP ranked 5 or 6. We know Michigan and Ohio State are probably going to be top 4. So the Big Ten East is just a complete gauntlet. And yeah, Penn State, if people aren't aware of what Penn State's building with James Franklin right now, after the really good rebound season they had, they won the Rose Bowl. I think they're going to go 1-1 against Ohio State and Michigan. They're going to get one of those games. They get Michigan at home, and they're on the road at the Buckeyes. Coordinating Miami's comeback. I mean, what is Miami doing, honestly? You know, what a horrible year. I was someone that did buy into the Miami hype, partly because I thought the ACC was down last year. And I got my ass handed to me because Miami was terrible. They ended up losing to just horrible teams. Didn't they lose to like some Florida school or something that was like a mid-level, mid-conference team? But either way, guys, Miami, Mario Cristobal, he needs a bounce back. He needs an 8-win season to get things right. They still have Tyler Van Dyke, who... Tyler Van Dyke regressed in a huge way last year. It was shocking how bad Tyler Van Dyke was, but maybe he'll turn it around. I don't know. Miami's NIL, they got 2 elite offensive tackles who are both true freshmen, so maybe, but yeah, for Miami with FSU coming on and being really good, and you still have Clemson in the ACC, it's going to be very tough. If I was a Miami fan, we're looking for 8 wins in a really good season. We go 9-3, and we really get things back on track in the Mario Cristobal era. Wisconsin makeover, yes. So I'm expecting Wisconsin to have an extreme bounce-back season this coming year with Braylon Allen, with the quarterbacks they got in the transfer portal. And really, it just sets up so nice for Wisconsin. They're playing in the Big Ten West. Very beatable games. Minnesota, winnable game. Iowa, winnable game. All those other teams, do we really think Illinois is going to have as good a year this year as they did last year? I think it's wide open. I think Wisconsin is going to be at Lucas Oil for the Big Ten championship against, whether it's Ohio State, Michigan, or Penn State. It seems to align perfectly for Luke Fickell. He's a really good coach. It is a lot of roster turnover. They're going to have to get going, but they do have a huge midseason game. Home game, it's probably going to be a night game unless Big Noon snipes it versus Ohio State. And listen, that would be great for Ohio State if that's a noon game. But you know what? It's probably going to be an ABC 7:30 game with College Game Day there. We've got the Texas quarterback battle. Arch Manning, the number 1 overall prospect. Now, guys, when it comes to Arch Manning, I was told he's more Eli than he is Peyton, which is really bad news for Texas, but that's what I was told. And yeah, there's really no battle here. Quinn Ewers is going to be the starter. There's actually talk of Texas actually redshirting Arch Manning. They really don't want to play him as a true freshman, so it will be Quinn Ewers with a Texas team that returns virtually everyone outside of Bijan Robinson. So we know how great Bijan Robinson was last year. He's gone. He's at the combine. But when it comes to this team, you've got Xavier Worthy. You've got Ewers, who should be better after a year of experience. I'm expecting Texas to be good, but I will say Oklahoma's going to have a great year with Dylan Gabriel back. They are. Jaden Rashada now at Arizona State. So yes, the NIL horror story that happened with the University of Florida and Rashada who is a fringe 5-star prospect. I think he's a high 4-star. He got a $13 million NIL deal. Florida told him, listen, we can't pay it. We don't have the money to pay this. He gets out of his national letter of intent, and he ends up going to Arizona State, which is a school his dad played for. So I didn't even know that. So it does make a little more sense why he would go to Arizona State. And I'm guessing he'll be starting as a true freshman at Arizona State. I mean, Jaden Daniels had some success at ASU before transferring to LSU. So we will see. Pac-12 on the field. It's such a shame that this is happening to the Pac-12 in terms of the whole realignment situation, because they've got so many returning good quarterbacks. They're going to have so many good top 15 teams. When you look at, Washington, Oregon, USC, Utah, UCLA, we'll see with Dante Moore. Is he going to start as a true freshman in that Chip Kelly offense? That's going to be something to watch. So the Pac-12 on the field is going to be really good. The problem, of course, is their overall marketability off the field. But this should be the best the Pac-12 has been in a long time, a real long time, when it comes to the overall conference hierarchy. Normally, they've been lagging significantly behind. But now you're talking about 3, maybe 4 teams in the top 15 that are solid, and even like 2 teams maybe inside the top 10, depending on how much USC's defense improves. The Big 14, yes, so this will be really interesting. Texas and Oklahoma, it says, against their will play one final season in the Big 12 along with the 4 new members. So isn't that interesting how we're getting these matchups that are only going to happen 1 year, because the 4 teams are joining, which were replacements for Texas and Oklahoma, but Texas and Oklahoma are still here. So it's kind of, funny little thing there to where Texas and Oklahoma are going to face some of these newcomers into the Big 12 just for 1 year. And then, of course, Texas and Oklahoma off to the SEC next year. They get out of the Big 12 a year early. And it should be real interesting to see some of those matchups. I was actually looking at some of the schedules, and you see like UCF facing some of these teams, Cincinnati. I think it's really cool because we just normally don't see it. Hugh Freeze era begins at Auburn. Dude, Auburn is just a complete dumpster fire. I mean, like, do Auburn fans really think that Hugh Freeze is going to turn their program around? Is that how bad? Like, how many retread SEC coaches can we have at this point? It seems like it's one after another. It's Lane. Remember they tried to get Lane Kiffin? I guess they tried going a new route with, the last guy they had, I think, from Boise State. So, and that clearly didn't work out. That was a disaster. So maybe Hugh Freeze can work out. I mean, he was decent at Ole Miss. They blatantly cheated to get, Laramie Tunsil, Laquan Treadwell, Robert Kimdichie. Yeah, I mean, they're blatantly cheating in recruiting. But listen, a lot of teams were cheating. They just did it better, I guess. But I guess we'll see what happens there. And then Nico Leva, the superstar 5-star quarterback, that's an interesting storyline at Tennessee, because you've got Joe Milton, who looked good in the bowl game. He's got a rocket arm. We remember him at Michigan. He was really raw, but now he's more experienced. Will they go with Joe Milton as their quarterback for all of next year? Or will the true freshman, who was apparently practicing with Tennessee during the bowl week, It was crazy. Will this kid come in? Take a look at this. It says he signed a 3-year bonus-laden $8 million NIL deal. I thought it was $9 million. But either way, he signs a massive NIL deal with Tennessee, and we will see if he gets any playing time as a true freshman. And then, of course, the Pac-12 off the field. What's going to happen? Are they going to survive? I already talked about that. It's going to be, it's just going to depend on their overall TV deal that they do get. Is the deal enough to keep all of the teams in the conference? And then if it is enough, does the Pac-12 then pivot and try and form some type of agreement with the ACC? Because there's also been rumors of that, and some type of alliance, which we know those things are always so ridiculous and they never work out, but that is something that people are wondering. Either way, guys, those are just some of the Either way, guys, those are some of the current big offseason headlines for college football here in 2023. And then the other thing that I do want to quickly say, apparently the second portal window opens May 1st through May 15th. That, I believe, is when the dates are on the portal window. So basically, you're going to get spring practice, all the spring games are going to happen, and then you're going to get an avalanche of kids who see the writing on the wall. They're not the starters. They're the third string, fourth string, whatever. These kids are going to pack into the portal like sardines, and it's going to be a complete cluster. It's going to be an orgy. And that's the second portal window on that. So that's going to be pretty crazy for the offseason, certainly coming in a little less than 2 months. We're getting all the spring games coming up in April. Although I did see, I think Missouri is having their spring game on March 18th. I thought it was funny that they were doing it that early. But either way, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.